All right, hey guys, Dr. Sean here. We're going to do a mailbag segment here. I got to ask Doc, what do you think about Addison's disease? I've got a niece that has it, and I'm not sure what to do for them other than standard medical care. So let's go through this. Let's look at what it is first off. Addison's disease is a adrenal insufficiency. Something has happened to the adrenal gland. It can be viral, it can be bacterial. They'll label it autoimmune sometimes. There's a number of different things that happen, but you're getting an adrenal gland that's not doing its job. Now, why is that important? Because your adrenal gland is a major player in how your body produces cortisol. And cortisol is a major hormone for handling stress. Now it gets into the glucocorticoids and a number of other different things in the medulla and the cortex, but they're all critical for normal body function. So if we don't have the fire trucks to go out and deal with the stress when we pull the alarm, all of a sudden the body gets in trouble. Some of these are absolutely critical for life. So we gotta have them. So it's a serious condition and it needs to be treated that way. So here's what I would do. Just kind of go around the horn. We know what it is, right? It's an adrenal insufficiency. It can cause fatigue, tiredness, exhaustion, mood swings. All kinds of things can come from this. Upset stomach, nausea, all kinds of stuff, right? So we know that happens. How do they find it? Usually the symptoms will lead you in. Your symptoms will lead you into your doctor's office. And then after that time, they're going to run blood tests. The blood test will kind of give them a pretty good idea. Are you producing adequate hormone amounts? Are they proper? Are they not quite reaching the levels they are? That's how they're going to define this thing and discover it. Sometimes they'll find antibodies that are associated with it as well. Now, once that's done, we want to, okay, so what makes it worse, right? What can I do to be making this thing worse? And how do I treat it? Now, medically, you treat this steroids. That's what they're going to give you. They're going to give you steroids, and they're almost always going to tell you to increase your salt. Because one of the side effects of Addison's a lot of times is that your aldosterone levels, which is another hormone that's put out that helps the body hold electrolytes, it drops off too. So now all of a sudden you become electrolyte deficient. And that's where a lot of that fatigue gets accentuated and even worse. Now the body has trouble regulating water balance, and now you're getting into trouble with your cells and being able to keep them full and allowing for the membrane to transfer things back and forth. So now the cell has a hard time getting nutrition. So we go and say, well, gosh, they're going to do it with steroids. They're going to do it with increased salt, but steroids make me fat. Steroids plump me up. Steroids make me bloat. And that's going to kick off glucose, right, to go up. And when that happens, it's going to kick off insulin. And when you kick insulin in, all of a sudden now you're going to be stimulating more adrenal insufficiency. So it actually is this kind of revving cycle. We have to do the therapy, but we can actually end up creating a problem without meaning to. So what makes it all worse? Here's the things. Any kind of stimulant. If you're on a stimulant and you have Addison's disease, coffees, colas, teas, caffeines, energy drinks, cigarettes, all these things will make it worse. So you got to stay away from them, guys. I'm sorry, that's how it has to be. Other things that can do it. Sugar. Now go back to it. Sugar. Oh man, sugar, it's a stimulant. It excites the body. It ramps glucose. Insulin follows. Insulin's a hormone. Okay, so we start looking at this thing, oh my gosh, and it's an adrenal problem, and the adrenal gland is an endocrine gland and hormonal. So they're married. You can't separate these hormones out. So the whole system has to be delicately balanced. The next thing that gets overlooked most of the time, stress. Stress is critical to the body, right? If you get emotionally stressed out, if you have all kinds of things going on around you, your body pulls the fire alarm. It's the adrenal that answers the bear. Well, if you don't have the parts, now stress can be detrimental to you, and that's where we can get in trouble. So that's the main things that make it all worse. We know what medicine does to treat it. So how do we go after? What's the McCaffrey method for going after this thing? It's always examine, right? You run that IUP. Find out what the body's doing. Run that test to see, am I holding on to nutrients or throwing away? Where are some of my nutritional stresses at? Am I going to have to support the body certain ways to try not to overwhelm it? Other things that you're going to see a lot of times with this is you're going to see you got to increase the salt. Okay, but I recommend it to everybody almost, right? But you got to put the water with it. Don't just do salt. You got to put the water with it. And the diet has to be very stable. High protein or decent amounts of protein because you make a lot of your hormones from protein. High, good quality fat because you make the rest of your hormones from fat. None of them are made from carbohydrates, guys. You got to limit the refined sugars. Get rid of the processed breads, grains, cereals, pastas, rice. That's got to come out of there. So you're thinking meats, vegetables, fruits, fish, things that are high in magnesium and zinc that also produce hormones. So as you go through this model and this mindset, you start thinking, okay, I got to reduce my stress. How do I do that? Well, what's the cause of all disease? Don't we say it all the time? Stress. And there's 3 flavors to it, right? Men are the cause of all stress. Get the body mechanically stable. Get the muscles firing, get the structure aligned, get the emotional stress, the neurologic stress under control, help with the nutritional imbalances and all the physiology. And if you can balance the whole thing, now the body has a chance to fight back. And that's exactly how I would deal with and have dealt with Addison's patients many, many times in my career. But it's an important thing. Make sure you don't disrespect it. Any disease has to be respected for what it is. I'm Dr. Sean, the Robin Hood Healthcare. Hope that helps you.